Jai, Hare Krishna, and welcome to Krishna and Vrindavan. This is our last episode, episode 30, and this is chapter 38. We'll do all of chapter 38 and some of 39 so we're going to start with Akrura going to Vrindavan to go and get Krishna, and then we'll finish when Krishna leaves Vrindavan. So Krishna, 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 hey. Krishna, 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 hey. Krishna, 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 Rakshama. Krishna, 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 Pahima. Rama, Raghava, Rama, Raghava, Rama, Raghava, Rakshama. Krishna, Keshava, Krishna, Keshava, Krishna, Keshava, Pahima. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. So here we have, we were talking about how Narada Muni went to Kamsa and told him everything that had happened about Krishna, that actually Krishna is the son of Devaki and Vasudeva cheated you. He said he was going to give all the babies, all their babies to you, but he didn't. He slipped out and took Krishna over to Gokul, and he's the one who has killed all of the demons that you've sent there. So now Kamsa's, now that he knows who Krishna is and where Krishna is, now he sends Akrura to go and get him. And he's already come up with this plan of having the wrestling match, thinking that Krishna is going to get killed. If he doesn't get killed by Kuvalayapita, the elephant, then he's going to get killed by Chanur and Mustika, these really vicious wrestlers. And if that doesn't work, then Kamsa is going to kill him himself. So Kamsa is thinking that this is his plan. But actually the Acharyas comment that Kamsa is simply planning and arranging for his own death. He thinks he's arranging for Krishna's death, but he's actually arranging for his own death. So in any case, Akrura doesn't mind, because Akrura, although he's a minister of Kamsa and he's basically a servant of Kamsa, but he is actually a devotee of Krishna. And he's one of the ones that, you see, when Krishna comes down from the spiritual world, he comes with all of his entourage, all of his associates come with him. And so Akrura was one of those Nityasiddhas who came from the spiritual world, but and most of them took birth in Vrindavan to be with Krishna, but some of them stayed in Mathura even after Krishna was transferred to Gokul. Akrura stayed there because he knew that he would be able to serve Krishna by staying in Mathura. So now he's doing his service for Krishna, which is going and fetching him, going to Vrindavan to get him. So this is really sweet as we read Akrura on his journey, all the way he mentally prepares himself and the way he's meditating on Krishna on the journey is very instructive for us. And it's very timely because a few of us hopefully are going to Vrindavan soon. So we can try to get in the mood of this meditation of going to see Krishna in Vrindavan. Okay, so text 1. After passing the night in the city of Mathura, the high-minded Akrura mounted his chariot and set off for the cowherd village of Nanda Maharaj. This was on the commentary saying that this all happened on the same day, that Krishna killed the Keshi demon, he killed Vyomasura, and on the same day, the evening of the same day, Akrura arrived and came to get him. That was a very busy day. As he traveled on the road, the great soul Akrura felt tremendous devotion for the lotus-eyed personality of Godhead, and thus he began to consider as follows. So actually, that was Ekadashi day, the day that he left, and so, or the day that he was told, he got the instruction that he was going. So he thought, okay, this is great. It's Ekadashi. I've just got the instruction from Kamsa to go to Vrindavan to get Krishna. And so he observed the all-night Ekadashi Vrata, staying up all night chanting the holy names and fasting, meditating on Krishna. And he was like he was so, I mean, he wasn't going to be able to sleep anyway, because he's been waiting for this moment for so many years, his whole lifetime practically. When is he going to be able to see Krishna again? He saw him, or probably didn't even when he was born, and because as soon as he was born, Vasudeva just took him. So he's just been living in anticipation of seeing Krishna his whole life, and now he got the order. So he's considering himself very fortunate, but unqualified. In the next verse, he says, what pious deeds have I done? What severe austerities undergone? What worship performed or charity given, so that today I will see Lord Keshava? Since I am a materialistic person absorbed simply in sense gratification, I think it is as difficult for me to have gotten this opportunity to see Lord Uttama Shloka as it would be for one born a Shudra to be allowed to recite the Vedic mantras. So here he's expressing his, out of humility, he's expressing his feelings of being unqualified. But of course, it wasn't by chance that Kamsa chose Akrura to go and get Krishna. He could have sent anyone, right? But basically, Krishna is the supreme controller, and so he, by divine arrangement, by Krishna's arrangement, Kamsa was inspired from within to choose Akrura to be the one to go. And this is Krishna's way of rewarding Akrura's devotion for him. Now he's going to reward him by giving him his darshan in Vrindavan. Yeah, when Sudam went to Dwarka to meet Krishna, he had a similar mood that, who am I to go and see Krishna? And then after, when Krishna embraces him and washes his feet, he's just thinking, why is this happening? What have I done? Who am I to get this kind of reception by Krishna? But the fact is that Krishna's, he's very kind to his devotees, and devotees are naturally meek and humble and feel unqualified, but Krishna wants to, he wants to love them. He wants to serve his devotees. So we're going to see how Krishna receives Akrura also. Okay. So now, so first the last two verses that I read, Akrura is feeling unqualified, but now he says, but enough of such thoughts. So stop thinking about myself. And because also to think I'm so fallen, I'm so unqualified, that's also just thinking of ourselves. It's also self-centered. Enough of such thoughts. Instead, what should we think of? That Krishna is so merciful. Who cares about me? What I have, what I don't have, what I deserve, what I don't deserve, doesn't matter. It's all about Krishna. Krishna is so merciful. Somehow or other, he has arranged this for me. He's arranged me to come. He's arranged for me to see him and talk to him and spend time with him and drive him in the chariot to Mathura. So he says, after all, even a fallen soul like me can have the chance to behold the infallible Supreme Lord. For one of the conditioned souls being swept along in the river of time may sometimes reach the shore. That's our situation. That just like pieces of driftwood in a river, they're just floating here and there, and sometimes they come to the shore. So all the jivas are also swept along by the river of time. But by the mercy of Krishna and the devotees and the process of devotional service, then we can come to the shore. We can actually land. We can come to the spiritual platform where time has no influence. So Akrura is thinking, whatever I am, it doesn't matter. Now I have the chance. I just need to take it. So in the same way, we've all been introduced to this process of bhakti by which we can know Krishna. Krishna says that bhakti mam.
I have what?
That by devotion, we can know Krishna. And somehow we have been given the process of bhakti. So we just need to take it. We just need to take the opportunity and try to serve Krishna despite our disqualifications and be grateful for everything that we've been given. Meet, you have a question?
Yes, what is Akrurji saying? I kind of missed that. Can you please repeat that?
Well, first he's thinking that what have I done that I've been able to get this opportunity to go see Krishna in Vrindavan? And then after that, he's like, oh, who cares about me and what I've done? let me just focus on Krishna's mercy, that somehow I've been given this opportunity. I should rejoice and take full advantage of it.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, so pay attention, because these verses are all what Akrura is thinking and saying to himself. Now he's alone and he's in the chariot and he's traveling to Vrindavan, and these are his thoughts. So text 6. Today, all my sinful reactions have been eradicated and my birth has become worthwhile, since I will offer my obeisances to the Supreme Lord's lotus feet, which yogis meditate upon. So these yogis, even after they get all the mystic siddhis, all the mystic perfections, they still meditate on Krishna's lotus feet, because that's the highest taste, that's the superior pleasure. And when we offer our obeisances to Krishna's lotus feet, like he's saying here, then all of our sinful reactions become eradicated. And the same result is there for anyone who chants the holy names. We get all of our sinful reactions are just wiped away, and all that's left is an ecstatic life in Krishna consciousness and the association with Krishna. So this is what's going to happen to Akrura. He says, indeed, today King Kamsa has shown me extreme mercy by sending me to see the lotus feet of Lord Hari, who has now appeared in this world. Simply by the effulgence of his toenails, many souls in the past have transcended the insurmountable darkness of material existence and achieved liberation. So it's funny that Akrura is thinking that Kamsa has been so merciful. And he's not complaining at all about Kamsa. He's not like, oh, this Kamsa is such a demon. He wants to kill Krishna and he's using me to try to like make this happen. I should just, reject Kamsa. He doesn't think like that. He sees, like a devotee, he sees everything as the Supreme Lord's arrangement. And he's thinking Krishna is so merciful that somehow or other he's orchestrating this whole thing, that Kamsa is ordering me to go there. And this is also Kamsa's great blessing. Because in a devotee's life, everything is a blessing, even though it may seem not good. Yeah, it says in the purport, Akrura noted how ironic it was that the envious demoniac Kamsa had given him an extraordinary blessing by sending him to see the Supreme Lord. So it's just amazing how Krishna works and who he engages in blessing the devotees, or in helping devotees make spiritual advancement in different ways. So now he's going to continue talking about the Lord's lotus feet. Those lotus feet are worshipped by Brahma, Shiva, and all the other demigods, by the goddess of fortune, and also by the great sages and Vaishnavas. Upon those lotus feet, the Lord walks about the forest while herding the cows with his companions, and those feet are smeared with the kumkum from the gopis' breasts. So then it's funny how like Akrura, his mood is dasya ras. He's in the mood of servitor of Krishna. But he's mentioning here, he's glorifying Krishna's feet as being smeared with the kumkum from the gopis' breast, because he's on the way to Vrindavan. And like we were just saying, he's already in that Vrindavan mood where the Madhurya Ras is prominent and pervades all the other relationships. So then this is one of the outstanding features of Krishna's lotus feet in relation to the conjugal Ras in Vrindavan. And he says, surely, so now he's becoming very confident. Surely I shall see the face of Lord Mukunda, since the deer are now walking past me on the right. Apparently that's a good omen, that when the deer pass you on the right, it's kind of like bad, if people consider that if a black cat crosses your path, that's a bad omen. So if the deer pass you on the right, that's a good omen. That face, framed by his curly hair, is beautified by his attractive cheeks and nose, his smiling glance, and his reddish lotus eyes. So here he has this meditation. He's just in his mind, although he's traveling, he's not even paying attention to the road or much. He's just visualizing Krishna's face, and with his curly hair and his beautiful cheeks and his nose and his smiling glance and his reddish lotus eyes, he has this mental image of Krishna. I'm going to see this Krishna, the one that I'm visualizing here. I'm going to see just that when I get there. And then He says, I'm going to see the Supreme Lord Vishnu, the reservoir of all beauty, who by his own sweet will has now assumed a human-like form to relieve the earth of her burden. Thus there is no denying that my eyes will achieve the perfection of their existence. That's, the perfection of the eyes is to see Krishna. He is the witness of material cause and effect, yet he is always free from the false identification with them. By his internal potency, he dispels the darkness of separation and confusion. The individual souls in this world who are manifested here when he glances upon his material creative energy indirectly perceive him in the activities of their life airs, senses, and intelligence. So here he's saying it's significant for Akrura that Krishna is the witness of all material cause and effect, because he's going on the order of Kamsa, and Kamsa wants to take Krishna there to kill him. So he's thinking, well, I'm actually going on a nefarious duty. This is actually really bad. The intention behind my journey to Vrindavan is terrible. But Krishna understands the cause. He's the witness of all causes and effects. So as the witness of all cause and effects, surely he will understand the real cause for me coming to Vrindavan, and he'll receive me accordingly. So here Akrura is sort of assuring himself that Krishna is going to accept him as his devotee and not as a servant of his enemy. And he also establishes the all-powerful position of Krishna in Vrindavan. That Krishna, although he appears to be a little boy and he's always playing and doing all these pastimes, but he's actually the all-powerful personality of Godhead. And Krishna's internal potency dispels the darkness of separation and confusion. So this is basically Maya, this idea of the darkness of separation from Krishna, that when we think that we are separate from Krishna, and we think that this world is separate from Krishna, then that is Maya. That's what it says here in the purport. The psychological underpinning of material life is the illusion that this world is somehow separate from God and therefore meant for our enjoyment. Like God has his place over there where he enjoys, in the spiritual world, but this material world is for my enjoyment. And these things here are all for me to use according to my whims. That is ignorance and illusion. And that Krishna he dispels that by his internal potency. So when we realize that the world actually belongs to Krishna, the whole world is Krishna's. It's not meant for our sense pleasure, but it's meant for the service of the Lord. Then we can actually be peaceful, because if this is Krishna's, and Krishna is the supreme controller, then everything that happens is just by Krishna's will, for Krishna's pleasure, according to Krishna's plan. Then what is there to be in anxiety about? Then we don't become attached to this world nor detached from it. We're just kind of neutral, and we accept whatever we can use in Krishna's service and reject whatever we can't use. And that's Yukta Vairagya. It's a very peaceful life in Krishna consciousness. Okay, so that was a little philosophical. Now, Akrura says, all sins are destroyed and all good fortune is created by the Supreme Lord's qualities, activities, and appearances, and words that describe these three things animate, beautify, and purify the world. On the other hand, words bereft of his glories are like the decorations on a corpse. So here he's thinking that, I've been a servant of Kamsa, I'm the servant of this demon who just, wants, his whole meditation is on how to destroy Krishna. So he's thinking, am I sinful in going there to serve Kamsa? He says, anyways, all sins are destroyed and all good fortune is created by the Supreme Lord's qualities and activities. So just thinking about Krishna and talking about him and observing him and seeing him is going to destroy any potential sins in his mind. Not that he really has anybody. In his humility, he's thinking that. And then it says that words that describe Krishna's qualities, activities, and appearances animate, beautify, and purify the world. So this is nice for us to meditate, that if we want to make a beautiful world, if we want to make this world beautiful and lively, animated and purified, then this is what we have to do. Describe Krishna's qualities and activities. Because that's what Akrura is saying, that that's what the effect is. On the other hand, words bereft of his glories are like the decorations on a corpse. And so this reminds me of those two verses in the beginning of the Bhagavatam spoken by Narada Muni, where he says that those words that don't describe the Lord are like a place of pilgrimage for crows. They're basically like a dead body. It's the same thing he's saying here, that crows go to peck away at a dead body. Just like they're just rotting and useless and stinky and, disease ridden. So, but on the other hand, those literatures which describe the transcendental name, form, quality, they're a different creation meant to bring about a revolution in the impious lives of this world's misdirected civilization. And they're heard, sung, and accepted by purified people who are thoroughly honest. So it's a similar point here. And also by talking about decorations on a corpse, he's also making a little reference to Kamsa, because Kamsa doesn't glorify the Lord, and soon he's going to be a well-decorated corpse. So he goes on to say, that same Supreme Lord has descended into the dynasty of the Sattvatas to delight the exalted demigods who maintain the principles of religion he has created. Residing in Vrindavan, he spreads his fame, which the demigods glorify in song and which bring auspiciousness to all. So here Akrura's, he's talking about the reason why Krishna descends, and the main thing is to delight the exalted demigods. We hear in Bhagavad Gita that it's to deliver the pious, to annihilate the miscreants, and to reestablish religion, principles of religion. But here he doesn't mention annihilating the miscreants, because he thinks, and Prabhupada also says that in different places, that Krishna doesn't need to descend to kill the demons. He can do that with a pandemic, with a earthquake or a hurricane or whatever, but actually he comes to give pleasure to his devotees. Yes, Rich, you have a question?
I hope this isn't a stupid question, but I just wanted to verify with you. Is Akrura a demon?
No, Akrura is a devotee.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you.
All right, thanks for clarifying that. Yeah, that's important. Akrura is a devotee. He's a pure devotee of Krishna. But like I was saying, he just happened to stay on in Kamsa's court because, as a minister to Kamsa, because he knew that in that situation he would have some important services to do for Krishna, which he's doing now. Okay, so yeah, if we look at Krishna's pastimes, killing the demons is just a very small, it's just like, we saw how Krishna was going to have the rasa dance, and then Aristasura came, and it's just like, get out of here. And then, Radha Kund, and then he goes and have the rasa dance. So it's just like, it's just some little hiccup, some little incidental thing that Krishna dispatches the demons very quickly and gets on with his pastimes. So like 90% of Krishna's pastimes are giving pleasure to his devotees. And even when he kills the demons, it's just to protect his devotees. And we see how, especially the cowherd boys, they take great pleasure in seeing Krishna kill the demons. So text 14, Akrura says, "Today I shall certainly see him, the goal and spiritual master of the great souls. Seeing him brings jubilation to all who have eyes, for he is the true beauty of the universe. Indeed, his personal form is the shelter desired by the goddess of fortune. Now all the dawns of my life have become auspicious." So yeah, here Akrura, his confidence in seeing Krishna, I shall certainly see him. So we're just learning a nectar of instruction. Utsaha nishchaya daryat, that favorable to devotional service is to be enthusiastic, to be confident, to be patient. So he's exercised great patience all these years living with Kamsa. And now finally, he's enthusiastically going to Vrindavan, and he's completely confident that he's going to see Krishna. He's going to be so happy. And now he's going to start to imagine the different ways in which he's going to interact with Krishna in Vrindavan, and ways that he's going to serve Krishna. So this is kind of like a manasa seva, like serving Krishna within one's mind, or cultivating a desire to serve Krishna in a particular mood. And Akrura's mood is Dasiras, so we'll see. So now he's predicting. He's like, when I get to Vrindavan, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what Krishna is going to do, and this is what they're going to say, and this is what I'm going to see. So let's see. Text 15. Then I will at once alight from my chariot and bow down to the lotus feet of Krishna and Balaram, the supreme personalities of Godhead. Theirs are the same feet that great mystic yogis, striving for self-realization, bear within their minds. I will also offer my obeisances to the Lord's cowherd boyfriends and to all the other residents of Vrindavan. So he's saying, I'm going to go to Vrindavan. I'm going to see Krishna, and Balaram is going to be there, and all the cowherd boys are going to be there. And I'm going to get off my chariot and pay obeisances at their lotus feet. And not only to Krishna, but to all the cowherd boys too. So this is very sweet. Dasiras means this mood of offering obeisances, folded hands, offering prayers. And we see that Akrura is a characteristic of a devotee who's actually well situated in his mood, is that it's not just all about Krishna, but he respects and offers obeisances to all Krishna's servants. Now he continues his meditation of what's going to happen. And when I have fallen at his feet, the Almighty Lord will place his lotus hand upon my head. For those who seek shelter in him, because they are greatly disturbed by the powerful serpent of time, that hand removes all fear. So he's imagining, I'm going to be lying there, paying dandavats at the lotus feet of Krishna, and Krishna is going to put his hand on my head. And then, and remove all of his fear, because Akrura may have had some fears due to, apparently being on the side of Kamsa. And I think he mentions it. Right, let's read on. I think it will mention his fears. By offering charity to that lotus hand, Purandara and Bali earned the status of Indra, king of heaven. And during the pleasure pastimes of the rasa dance, when the Lord wiped away the gopis' perspiration and removed their fatigue, the touch of their faces made that hand as fragrant as a sweet flower. So again, he's referring to the rasa dance, because Vrindavan mood, that hand that took away the fear, that will take away his fear, that made Bali and Purandara kings of heaven, and Krishna's hand became fragrant from wiping the perspiration from the gopis' faces. The infallible Lord will not consider me an enemy, even though Kamsa has sent me here as his messenger. After all, the omniscient Lord is the actual knower of the field of this material body, and with his perfect vision, he witnesses, both externally and internally, all the endeavors of the conditioned soul's heart. So this is very sweet. I mean, at least for those of us who are sincere. Maybe it's a little scary for those who are insincere, but Krishna is situated in the heart, and he understands our intentions. He understands our reasons for doing things. So it says, perfect vision. He witnesses both externally and internally everything that we do and all the endeavors of our heart. So what's going on in our hearts, that's what he sees. And that's why, like we learned in Nectar Instruction, that advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. So Krishna responds to our attitude. When we have a proper attitude, then we make advancement. Even if we're doing all the external things right, but we have the wrong attitude, then that's not going to be helpful. So yeah, externally, Krishna was a friend of Kamsa, but internally, he was the eternal devotee of Krishna. And Akrura was confident that Krishna was going to know that. Thus, Krishna will cast his smiling, affectionate glance upon me as I remain fixed with joined palms, fallen in obeisances at his feet. Then all my contamination will at once be dispelled, and I will give up all doubts and feel the most intense bliss. So he's imagining that not only is Krishna going to touch him with his hand, but he's going to smile at him. And when Akrura sees that smile, Krishna's very mild and sweet smile, that's going to free him from all doubts. It's going to enable him to feel the most intense bliss. Find that place here. Yeah, so Akrura is kind of similar to Sudama again, that in the sense that both were sent to Krishna on the order of somebody else. Akrura was ordered by Kamsa, and both for kind of mundane purposes, to go and get Krishna, to kill him, basically, to bring him to the wrestling match where he would be killed. And then Sudama was sent by his wife to go and ask Krishna for money because they were poor. So, but both of them went, and neither of them cared about the purpose for which they were going. So they're both just, Sudama was like, I don't care about money. I just want to go see Krishna. And Akrura's like, I don't care about what Kamsa's plan. I just want to go and see Krishna. So that was, they had their own agenda. They just see Krishna and exchange loving service with Krishna. All right. Recognizing me as an intimate friend and relative, Krishna will embrace me with his mighty arms, instantly sanctifying my body and diminishing to nil all my material bondage, which is due to fruitive activities. I think Krishna is going to embrace him, even though he feels that he's not pure, that he has material attachments, but that embrace will purify him, and that Krishna will recognize. He says, recognizing me. So when, like when Sanatana Goswami got out of jail and went to see Lord Chaitanya, then nobody could recognize him because he looked like a Muslim mendicant. He was dirty, he was dressed like a Muslim, he had a beard. And Lord Chaitanya told his servant, go out in the door, there's a great devotee there, one of my servants is there to come, he came to see me, go see. So the devotee went out and he said, there's nobody there, my lord, just some Muslim mendicant. And then he said, oh really, invite that mendicant to come in. And then Lord Chaitanya recognized him, and nobody else could recognize him, but Lord Chaitanya could understand, this is Sanatana Goswami, my eternal associate, and he embraced him. So like that, when we meet Krishna, he will recognize us. Nitai. Nitai, you have a question or comment? I saw your hand went up. You need to unmute.
Nitai's like, I'm not even on Zoom.
Oh, well, somebody's using Nitai's thing.
I think I'm under Nitai's thing. That's
Oh, it's
fine.
Vova. All right, you have some question or comments?
Yeah, I was just curious whether, because Akrura is in Dasya Ras, but he's talking about being embraced by Krishna and getting the hand rather than the feet. So I'm just curious what's going on.
I mean, also embracing is there in Dasya Ras. Krishna appreciates his servants and he embraces them out of gratitude. That's one of Krishna's qualities. He's very grateful for any service rendered. So it's not, of course, the way Krishna is going to embrace Akrura is not going to be the way he embraces the gopis, but still, it's an embrace, an appreciation for his service attitude.
Thank you.
All right.
I have a question.
Yes, Evan.
It seems like, what is it? Text. I don't know, but it says, oh yeah, text 10. I'm going to see the Supreme Lord Vishnu. So it seems like sometimes in the Bhagavatam, I guess Vishnu and Krishna seem synonymous. And yeah, I'm also wondering if it's a well-known fact that Krishna, I guess in Mathura and like around the area, a well-known fact that Krishna is God, even though in Vrindavan they don't really see that.
Well, it's not necessarily a well-known fact, but the devotees who live in Mathura, they know that Krishna is Vishnu because when he was born, that's how he revealed himself, right? He first appeared as four-armed Vishnu with all his conch, disc, club, and lotus, and 4 arms, yeah. And then after he assumed the form of a baby. So, I mean, obviously, that's something that Vasudeva and Devaki would have told Akrura and anybody else that they knew to be a devotee of Krishna in Mathura. So, yeah, Akrura knew that. But the Vrajavasis don't know that, but the Mathura Vasis, they know that. That's why the mood is different. It's not like Kevala Prem or only pure love. It's Aishvarya. It's mixed with Aishvarya.
So yeah, and then it seems like, well, he's calling him Vishnu. So it seems like really, I understand why so many people are confused and think that Krishna is an incarnation of Vishnu. So yeah, I don't know. The way that they speak about it kind of makes it seem like that.
In most of the verses, he's saying Krishna, Krishna, Krishna and Balaram. There's that one where he says Vishnu, but it's just to show, you know, and also in those verses, it says how he's, you know, the supreme personality of Godhead. He's the witness, he's the super soul, he's, you know, so Akrura understands that Krishna is the source of all these things. But ultimately, the supreme personality is Krishna.
Thank you. And then I also just wanted to mention really quick, I think this is like a really beautiful meditation to think like, oh yeah, I'm going to see Krishna. Like when you're chanting, you can be like, oh, what will it be like when I finally see Krishna? I'm gonna pay my obeisances. I'm gonna feel so unqualified, but he's still gonna like pick me up and embrace me. I just think that's a really sweet meditation.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, we can have this meditation. That's what the devotees do. It's like you can imagine, when I see Krishna, what will I do? You know, how will I, when I first see him, pay obeisance, you know, what will I do? How will I serve him? How will I, what will I see? Like that. That's what he's doing. Okay, so then text 21. Having been embraced by the all-famous Lord Krishna, I will humbly stand before him with bowed head and joined palms, and he will address me, my dear Akrura. At that very moment, my life's purpose will be fulfilled. Indeed, the life of anyone whom the Supreme Personality of Godhead fails to recognize is simply pitiable. So yeah, not only, so we chant Krishna's names, and when Krishna recognizes us, then he will also chant our names. He'll also say our name. Very sweet. It's Krishna's reciprocation with devotees. And he will say our name with great affection, such a way that our hearts will completely melt. The Supreme Lord has no favorite and no dearmost friend, nor does he consider anyone undesirable, despicable, or fit to be neglected. All the same, he lovingly reciprocates with his devotees in whatever manner they worship him, just as the trees of heaven fulfill the desires of whoever approaches them. Yeah, so Krishna, he's open to everybody, and then he just reciprocates, like we were talking about, that demons go to fight with Krishna to try to kill him, then he fights with them and kills them. The gopis go to dance with Krishna, he dances with them. Akrura goes to offer obeisances and embrace Krishna and serve him, and that's, we're going to see that actually what he's saying here is we're going to see how when Akrura does meet Krishna, Krishna's going to do exactly what he's meditating on here. It's kind of uncanny how exactly what he meditated on is what's going to happen. So then, and then Lord Krishna's elder brother, the foremost of the Yadus, will grasp my joined hands while I am still standing with my head bowed. And after embracing me, he will take me to his house. So he's imagining that he's standing there with his folded hands, and Balaram gets hold of his hands and takes him and pulls him, like, come on, come to my house. There he will honor me with all items of ritual welcome and inquire from me about how Kamsa has been treating his family members. So because Akrura is older than Krishna Balaram, he's like an uncle. So he's expecting that this, although he understands, although his mood is dasya, he's their servant, but because of social etiquette, he's going to accept service from them, that they're going to give him a seat, they're going to feed him, they're going to, you know, wash his feet, basically, all the items of ritual welcome. Okay. Shukadeva Goswami continued, my dear king, while the son of Swapalka, traveling on the road, thus meditated deeply on Sri Krishna, he reached Gokul as the sun was beginning to set. So he got there. And now let's see. In the cowherd pasture, Akrura saw the footprints of those feet, whose pure dust the rulers of all the planets in the universe hold on their crowns. Those footprints of the Lord, distinguished by such marks as the lotus, barleycorn, and elephant goad, made the ground wonderfully beautiful. So as soon as he got there, he saw Krishna's footprints. And then what did he do? Increasingly agitated by ecstasy at seeing the Lord's footprints, his bodily hairs standing on end because of his pure love, and his eyes filled with tears, Akrura jumped down from his chariot and began rolling about among those footprints, exclaiming, "Ah, this is the dust from my master's feet." So as soon as he sees the footprints, he gets off there and he rolls in them. And here's what I was thinking. The very goal of life for all embodied beings is this ecstasy, which Akrura experienced when, upon receiving Kamsa's order, he put aside all pride, fear, and lamentation, and absorbed himself in seeing, hearing, and describing the things that reminded him of Krishna. So all the while he's going there, he's just thinking about Krishna. He's describing Krishna. He's hearing about Krishna. Now he's seeing Krishna's footprints, and he's seeing Krishna in his mind. So he's really absorbed in Krishna, and he just puts aside all of his fears and his pride, because he's a superior person. He's a minister of the king. He has a very exalted position, and some people would be very fearful because Kamsa is the king, and he knows that Kamsa hates Krishna. Kamsa despises Krishna, so he could be like, oh, well, here's Krishna's footprint, but if I go and pay my obeisances on this footprint, then people might see it, and word might get back to Kamsa, and Kamsa might kill me for being a traitor, like that. Or he might kill my family. He might somehow harm my family members, or burn down my house, or something like this. But Akrura doesn't care. He's like, it doesn't matter, because this is the perfection of life, is to roll in the dust of Krishna's lotus feet. Okay, and now he's going to see Krishna, and we're going to get a beautiful description of Krishna and Balaram. Akrura then saw Krishna and Balaram in the village of Raj going to milk the cows. Krishna wore yellow garments and Balaram blue, and their eyes resembled autumn lotuses. One of those two mighty armed youths, the shelters of the goddess of fortune, had a dark blue complexion, and the other's was white. With their fine featured faces, they were the most beautiful of all persons. As they walked with the gait of young elephants, glancing about with compassionate smiles, those two exalted personalities beautified the cow pasture with the impressions of their feet, which bore the marks of the flag, lightning bolt, elephant goad, and lotus. The two lords, whose pastimes are most magnanimous and attractive, were ornamented with jeweled necklaces and flower garlands, anointed with auspicious fragrant substances, freshly bathed and dressed in spotless raiment. They were the primeval supreme personalities, the masters and original causes of the universes, who had for the welfare of the earth now descended in their distinct forms of Keshava and Balaram. O King Parikshit, they resembled two gold-bedecked mountains, one of emerald and the other of silver, as with their effulgence they dispelled the sky's darkness in all directions. So it's a very beautiful description. So then, imagine. Now he was imagining that he was going to see Krishna. Now he finally sees Krishna and Balaram. Overwhelmed with affection, Akrura quickly jumped down from his chariot and fell at the feet of Krishna and Balaram like a rod. So just as he had imagined himself doing, that's what he does. He jumps off his chariot, pays full dandavats. The joy of seeing the Supreme Lord flooded Akrura's eyes with tears and decorated his limbs with eruptions of ecstasy. He felt such eagerness that he could not speak to present himself, O king. He couldn't say a word. He was just totally stunned in ecstasy. But recognizing Akrura, remember he said that he will recognize me. Recognizing Akrura, Lord Krishna drew him close with his hand, which bears the sign of a chariot wheel, and then embraced him. So just as he thought, he'll take me by the hand, he'll pull me to him, he'll embrace me. Krishna felt pleased, for he is always benignly disposed towards his surrendered devotees. And it's specifically mentioned that his hand is marked with the chakra, because that's an indication that he's going to kill Kamsa. As Akrura stood with his head bowed, Lord Sankarshan, Balaram, grasped his joined hands. Same exact thing. He said, Balaram's going to come and grasp my joined hands and take me to his house. And that's what he does. Then Balaram took him to his house in the company of Lord Krishna. After inquiring from Akrura whether his trip had been comfortable, Balaram offered him a first-class seat, bathed his feet in accordance with the injunctions of scripture, and respectfully served him milk with honey. So all those items of ritualistic welcome, just like he imagined, he's doing them all. The Almighty Lord Balaram presented Akrura with the gift of a cow, massaged his feet to relieve him of fatigue, and then with great respect and faith, fed him suitably prepared food of various fine tastes. So now Balaram is going to he's feeding him with his, he's sitting him down, washing his feet, he's feeding him with his own hand. Can you imagine that, being fed by the hand of the Lord? And it says here in the purport that actually the timing, it was like evening on the Dvadashi day, and it was not a suitable time to eat. But Akrura didn't care. He was just like, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is feeding me with his own hand. I don't care about rules. This is another level. Meat.
You said,
Go ahead.
Prabhu, you said Balram is feeding him or Krishna is feeding him?
It says that Balaram is feeding him.
Okay. Thank you.
When Akrura had eaten to his satisfaction, Lord Balaram, the supreme knower of religious duties, offered him aromatic herbs for sweetening his mouth, along with fragrances and flower garlands. Thus Akrura once again enjoyed the highest pleasure. So Balaram fed him. He gave him the spices that you chew after eating. He put the perfumes on him. He gave him a flower garland. And now Nanda Maharaj is also there because they're in the house, Krishna Balaram's house. Nanda Maharaj is there. So Nanda Maharaj is saying, O descendant of Dasharha, Akrura, how are all of you maintaining yourselves while that merciless Kamsa remains alive? You're just like sheep under the care of a butcher. So Nanda Maharaj is being, empathetic here. Like, you must be really suffering. How can you live there with that Kamsa? That cruel, self-serving Kamsa murdered the infants of his own sister in her presence, even as she cried in anguish. So why should we even ask about the well-being of you, his subjects? It's like if Kamsa is basically a psychopath, he killed the babies of his own sister. He killed his own nephews without any feeling at all of remorse. So if he's capable of doing that, then I don't even want to think about how he treats the rest of you who are not his intimate family members. So, honored by Nanda Maharaj with these true and pleasing words of inquiry, Akrura forgot the fatigue of the journey. So yeah, this amazing reception that he got made him forget about everything. So the next chapter, I won't read the whole chapter, and since time is short, I'm just going to read the translations probably until we get to the point of Krishna leaving Vrindavan. So bear with me, we'll probably go a few minutes over time. Okay. So having been honored so much by Lord Balaram and Lord Krishna, Akrura, seated comfortably on a couch, felt that all the desires he had contemplated on the road were now fulfilled. Indeed, they were, everything perfectly, to his complete satisfaction. My dear king, what is unattainable for one who has satisfied the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the shelter of the Goddess of Fortune? So in other words, if we satisfy Krishna, we can get anything. There's nothing unattainable. Even so, those who are dedicated to his devotional service never want anything from him. After the evening meal, Lord Krishna, the son of Devaki, asked Akrura how Kamsa was treating their dear relatives and friends and what the king was planning to do. Krishna said, my dear gentle uncle Akrura, was your trip here comfortable? May all good fortune be yours. Are our well-wishing friends and relatives, both close and distant, happy and in good health? But my dear Akrura, as long as King Kamsa, the disease of our family, who goes by the name maternal uncle, is still prospering, why should I even bother to ask about the well-being of our family members and his other subjects? The disease of our family. And then Krishna is very sweet. He says, just see how much suffering I have caused my offenseless parents. Because of me, their sons were killed and they themselves imprisoned. So Krishna he's taking responsibility for all the suffering that everybody's experiencing there, because it's only because of him that Kamsa is so angry and that he's imprisoning everyone and killing babies and doing all these things. By good fortune, we have today fulfilled our desire to see you, our dear relative. Oh, gentle uncle, please tell us why you have come. So sweet, Krishna saying that I also desired to see you, Akrura, and I'm so happy that you've come. In response to the Supreme Lord's request, Akrura, the descendant of Madhu, described the whole situation, including King Kamsa's enmity towards the Yadus and his attempt to murder Vasudeva. Akrura relayed the message he had been sent to deliver. In other words, he invited him. He's like, you're invited to a festival where the wrestlers are going to try to kill you. He also described Kamsa's real intentions and how Narada had informed Kamsa that Krishna had been born as the son of Vasudeva. Yeah, so he told him that Narada Muni went there and told Kamsa everything, and now that's how Kamsa has located you. Lord Krishna, yeah, so he told him Kamsa's whole plan for how he's going to kill him. And Krishna and Balaram, the vanquisher of heroic opponents, laughed when they heard Akrura's words. The Lord then informed their father Nandaraj of King Kamsa's orders. So they just started laughing. They're like, oh, and father, just hear this crazy plan that Kamsa has. He thinks that we're going to go there and he's going to kill us with this elephant and with these wrestlers. And, isn't that ridiculous? So they just think it's the most ludicrous thing ever. They're laughing their heads off about it. Nandaraj then issued orders to the cowherd men by having the village constable make the following announcement throughout Nanda's domain of Raj. Go collect all the available milk products, bring valuable gifts and yoke your wagons. Tomorrow we shall go to Mathura, present our milk products to the king and see a very great festival. The residents of all the outlying districts are also going. So as soon as Krishna told Nandaraj about this festival that Kamsa was arranging to kill him, Nandaraj was like, great, we're going. And because it's the duty of the Vaishyas to offer some charity make offerings to the king. So they're doing that. He says, we're going to present our milk products to the king. So it just shows how, even though Kamsa is a demon, but Nanda Maharaj is doing his duty. So this is the mode of goodness, that you do your duty, even though it seems unfavorable. So he's doing his duty, and they're following the order of Kamsa, who's their king. Parthasarthi?
Did Nanda Maharaj know Kamsa's intention to kill Krishna?
I'm not sure about that. I don't think so. Because Krishna was just like, I don't think so. He just told him that this is what Kamsa wants us to do. He wants us to go there. They're going to have a wrestling match. There's going to be a big festival, and they want us to attend. And they want me and Balaram to take part in it. So let's go. It's going to be great fun. And they're laughing the whole time they tell him. Then Namaraj is like, all right, great. Awesome. And also we have to obey the order of the king because he's our ruler. But when the young gopis heard that Akrura had come to Vraj to take Krishna and Balaram to the city, they became extremely distressed. Some gopis felt so pained at heart that their faces turned pale from their heavy breathing. Others were so anguished that their dresses, bracelets, and braids became loose. Other gopis entirely stopped their sensory activities and became fixed in meditation on Krishna. They lost all awareness of the external world, just like those who attain the platform of self-realization. So when the gopis heard this, some of them started crying. Some of them just immediately sat down and started meditating on Krishna. Still other young women fainted simply by remembering the words of Krishna. These words, decorated with wonderful phrases and expressed with affectionate smiles, would deeply touch the young girls' hearts. So they're already imagining that he's leaving, and they're remembering all the things that he said to them, and they're just feeling so bad that he's not going to be able to be saying anything more to them. The gopis were frightened at the prospect of even the briefest separation from Lord Mukunda. So now, as they remembered his graceful gait, his pastimes, his affectionate smiling glances, his heroic deeds, and his joking words, which would relieve their distress, they were beside themselves with anxiety at the thought of great separation about to come. They gathered in groups and spoke to one another, their faces covered with tears and their minds fully absorbed in Achyuta. So the gopis got together like, my God, did you hear Krishna's going? What are we going to do? We have to stop this. How are we going to be able to live without him? And then they start cursing Providence. Oh, Providence, you have no mercy. You bring embodied creatures together in friendship and love, and then senselessly separate them before they fulfill their desires. This whimsical play of yours is like a child's game. In other words, it's just totally irresponsible. Which intelligent person would do things like this? Having shown us Mukunda's face, framed by dark locks and beautified by his fine cheeks, raised nose, and gentle smiles, which eradicate all misery, you are now making that face invisible. This behavior of yours is not at all good. O Providence, though you come here with the name Akrura, you are indeed cruel. So the name Akrura actually means not cruel, but they're saying that his name means not cruel, but he's actually indeed cruel. For like a fool, you are taking away what you once gave us, those eyes with which we have seen, even in one feature of Lord Madhuvisa's form, the perfection of your entire creation. Yeah, so they're thinking that they didn't want to see anything but Krishna. And if Krishna is not there to see, then their eyes would have no function. Alas, Nanda's son, who breaks loving friendships in a second, will not even look directly at us. Forcibly brought under his control, we abandon our homes, relatives, children, and husbands just to serve him. But he is always looking for new lovers. So now, first they're condemning Providence, now they're condemning Krishna. Like, how could he go? How could he leave us? It's one thing this Akrura is coming on the order of Kamsa, but how could Krishna, who loved us, just leave us like that? The dawn following this night will certainly be auspicious for the women of Mathura. All their hopes will now be fulfilled, for as the Lord of Vraj enters their city, they will be able to drink from his face the nectar of the smile emanating from the corners of his eyes. O Gopis, although our Mukunda is intelligent and very obedient to his parents, once he has fallen under the spell of the honey-sweet words of the women of Mathura and been enchanted by their alluring shy smiles, how will he ever return to us unsophisticated village girls? So they think he's going to go there to Mathura. Those women there are very sophisticated. They have all the airs and graces and feminine charms to be able to captivate Krishna's mind. So even if his father wants to bring him back, he's not going to leave. He's going to become too attached to them. And he's going to compare us to them and think, oh, why would I go back to those unsophisticated village girls when I have these posh city women to enjoy with? When the Dasharahas, Bhojas, Andakas, Vrishnis, and Satvatas see the son of Devaki in Mathura, they will certainly enjoy a great festival for their eyes, as will all those who see him traveling along the road to the city. After all, he is the darling of the goddess of fortune and the reservoir of all transcendental qualities. He who is doing this merciless deed should not be called Akrura. He is so extremely cruel that without even trying to console the sorrowful residents of Vraj, he is taking away Krishna, who is more dear to us than life itself. So it was bad enough that Akrura was taking Krishna away, but it was even worse that he didn't even seem to consider the feelings of the Vrajvasis. He didn't go to the gopis and say, I know you girls really love Krishna and this is going to be very difficult for you, but he really needs to go because, we need to get rid of Kamsa. He's just a scourge on the planet. And, I hope you understand and Krishna will come back soon. He didn't say anything. He didn't even address them. And Krishna nobody said anything. That's what bothered them the most. That feelings were just not considered whatsoever. And actually later, Akrura suffers a reaction for that. He's actually, he has to leave Dwarka and experience separation from Krishna the way the gopis did. Hard-hearted Krishna has already mounted the chariot, and now the foolish cowherds are running after him in their bullock carts. Even the elders are saying nothing to stop him. Today, fate is working against us. So they're just like in a complete state of disbelief that, how are the cowherd men not stopping him? How are they just going along with this whole plan? This can't happen. This is like not real. Like, are we dreaming? Don't they realize that they're committing suicide by letting Krishna go because he's never going to come back? And they're just actually helping him go? This is insanity. So to them, they just didn't understand why Krishna was going, and people weren't, having a riot about it. So if nobody else is going to do it, they think we'll do something. Let us directly approach Madhava and stop him from going. What can our family members, family elders, and other relatives do to us? Now that fate is separating us from Mukunda, our hearts are already wretched, for we cannot bear to give up his association, even for a fraction of a second. So they're saying, we'll go up. We're going to go right up to Krishna. We're going to grab him by the arm and we're going to pull him off that chariot. We're going to pull at his clothes and tell him that he has to get off the chariot and stay here with us. Because we'll tell him that if you go, you're going to be guilty of the sin for murdering so many women. And then a gopi says, but if we do that, then the elders will all discover our secret love for Krishna, and then we'll be in trouble. And then the gopi says, well, what can they do with us? Our lives are also anyways going to be a nightmare. They're anyways going to be hellish if Krishna goes. And then she agrees, yes, our lives are already wretched now that we have nothing to lose, basically. So they said, even if they find out, no problem. If they kick us out of the village, we'll just go live in the forest like the presiding goddesses of the forest, and then we'll be able to stay with Krishna all the time. And who needs them anyway? Yes, and even if the elders punish us by beating us or locking us up, still at least we'll be happy knowing that Krishna is here in the village. And there will be some girls who are not imprisoned, and they'll find a way to bring us the remnants of Krishna's prasadam, and in that way we will maintain our lives. But if Krishna goes, then we're certainly going to die. So we have to do everything we can to get him to stay. So now they're remembering. When he brought us to the assembly of the Rasa dance, where we enjoyed his affectionate and charming smiles, his delightful secret talks, his playful glances and his embraces, we passed many nights as if they were a single moment. O gopis, how can we possibly cross over the insurmountable darkness of his absence? How can we exist without Ananta's friend Krishna, who in the evening would return to Vraj in the company of the cowherd boys, his hair and garland powdered with the dust raised by the cow's hooves? As he played his flute, he would captivate our minds with his smiling sidelong glances. Then Shukadeva Goswami says, after speaking these words, the ladies of Raj, who were so attached to Krishna, felt extremely agitated by their imminent separation from him. They forgot all shame and loudly cried out, "O Govinda, O Damodar, O Madhava." So these names that they're calling out are also significant. Anyways, we're getting overtime. I'm just going to go ahead. Yeah, and there's that image, like maybe you've seen the picture of Krishna, he's in the chariot, Akrura is driving, and the gopis are holding onto the chariot. They're lying down in front of the chariot so the horses can't go. They're, trying to pull, they block the wheels and all that. So they're just desperate to get Krishna to stay in Vrindavan. And now, like, even though they've hidden their love for Krishna all this time, now they're finally just like expressing it. But even as the gopis cried out in this way, Akrura, having at sunrise performed his morning worship and other duties, began to drive the chariot. So, yeah, that's what it says here in the purport. It says, Akrura offended the gopis by not consoling them when he took Krishna to Mathura. And because of this offense, Akrura was later forced to leave Dwarka and be separated from Krishna during the episode of the Shamantaka jewel. At that time, Akrura had to take up an ignoble residence in Varanasi. So, what goes around comes around. Led by Nanda Maharaj, the cowherd men followed behind Lord Krishna in their wagons. The men brought along many offerings for the king, including clay pots filled with ghee and other milk products. So the cowherd men aren't worried because they're going with him. Krishna's going and all the cowherd men are going with him. And it says here that the elderly ladies, Mother Yashoda and the other women, they weren't crying because they were sure that when their husbands came back to Vrindavan, they would bring Krishna with them. They're just going for a few days. With his glances, Lord Krishna somewhat pacified the gopis. So he's sitting on the chariot and he's at least giving them some glances. He's not completely ignoring them. So the chariot's moving and Krishna's looking back at them lovingly, affectionately. And they're also following. So on foot, they're also walking behind, hoping that he would give. So they would catch up to, and then they would stand there still, hoping that he would stop and give them some instructions about how they're going to maintain their lives without him. As he departed, that best of the Yadus saw how the gopis were lamenting, and thus he consoled them by sending a messenger with this loving promise, "I will return." So Krishna is promising that he's going to return to Vrindavan, and it's this promise that keeps the gopis and Radharani and the gopis alive in Krishna's absence. Sending their minds after Krishna, the gopis stood as motionless as figures in a painting. So they're just stunned, like, I can't believe he's going. I can't believe he's going. They remained there as long as the flag atop the chariot was visible. So they're just watching the chariot going further and further away. And then the only thing they could see then was the flag. Even until they could no longer see the dust raised by the chariot's wheels. So then they couldn't see the chariot or even the flag, they could just see the dust. And then only when the dust settled, then the gopis turned back without hope that Govinda would ever return to them. Full of sorrow, they began to spend their days and nights chanting about the pastimes of their beloved. So we'll stop there because That's the end of Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes in the Bhagavatam. After that, it's going to be on the way to Mathura, and then what Krishna does in Mathura and Dwarka. So we have concluded our Kartik series, Krishna and Vrindavan. I hope you've all enjoyed it. Any comments or questions or reflections? Boba, was that your hand?
Yeah, I mean, a quick thing. I was thinking, it's really interesting that we should make sure we get the permission of other devotees and make sure they're okay before we really do anything big in Krishna's service, or else we might commit offense, like Akrura did to the gopis. It's very interesting.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So, sometimes it's like we have an instruction, say even the spiritual master gives you an instruction and you're, fixed on following that instruction. But we also need to be sensitive that in the course of carrying that out, are we, stepping on anybody's toes? Are we slighting anyone? Are we, just neglecting people? We can't neglect anybody because every devotee is dear to Krishna. So we need to be very sensitive about how people are, how our actions are affecting others. Thank you. That's an excellent point. Anything else?
Yeah, I like this part where, oh, am I breaking up?
No, you're fine for me.
Okay, it just froze on my end. I like this, the part where the gopis are debating whether they should make a public display of their affections. It's really sweet to come to that point where, you know what, we have nothing else to lose. It's all or nothing here. He's going away. So, I mean, maybe people will be upset that we have this love with someone who's not our husband. What can we do? It's like such an exposing moment. I think all devotees kind of have many moments like that, or where it's like you have to make that choice, where it's Krishna or the society. It's like it may end life as we know it, but I don't know what else I can do. This is my heart. I'm a Krishna Bhakta. But I have to do this thing.
Yeah, that's true. Like some people might think that we're just totally out of it, it's like really just out of touch with the real world. Just, chanting Hare Krishna and talking about Krishna, serving Krishna. But who cares, This is the best thing. Actually, this is what everybody should be doing. So at least we need to do it and don't worry. Don't care about public opinion. Thank you. Good point. All right. Anything else? There's that prayer, I can't remember who the devotee was, but there's that great prayer that, my friends may call me a loser, my family may think I'm insane, but still, no matter how much they insult me and criticize me, I cannot budge an inch from my worship of Lord Krishna, even though I'm basically incapable. Okay, Madhavendra Puri, even though I'm incapable of serving him properly. So, following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. Okay, then, nothing else, then we shall wrap it up here. Thank you all for attending, and I hope you all feeling inspired, or I hope you all feel some purification from hearing these pastimes of Krishna and Vrindavan over the last 30 days. Definitely I have. So thank you. Without you being there, then I wouldn't be able to do this.
Thank you for your class, Prabhu.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to all the devotees of Krishna. Hari Bol.